Have you heard the news? Bad things come in twos, but I never knew about the little things. Anyone remember that song from 2008? It was on the Wanted soundtrack, Danny Elfman. It's a good song. I recommend it. The Little Things is the movie that we're talking about today, starring Denzel Washington, Rami Malek, and Jared Leto. It's a serial killer investigation story. I think with a lot of my reviews, too early on, I jump into what I thought of the movie. I think it may make some people turn off the reviews early, or they may just turn off the reviews early because they don't want to hear what I have to say. But I'm going to do that again here because this movie is so bad. This is really bad, guys. I'm stunned that a movie with this many talented people in it is this awful. I don't hate it the way that I've hated some other movies on here. I don't hate it the way that I hated Artemis Fowl or the way that I hated The Tax Collector, because those movies are are obnoxiously bad movies. Those are obnoxiously made movies. They wave their arms up in the air clamoring for attention. This is just such a flat line. There's very few things about it I liked. I'm going to forget about this movie tomorrow probably, except for one element, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But there are some things that are okay. Denzel Washington is in this movie. That's always a plus. Denzel Washington is amazing. I feel like in terms of approval rating, Denzel Washington and Tom Hanks are probably the two most likable actors of our time. Even in Training Day, where he's a murderous jerk, you still like him. King Kong ain't got shit on me! Or in Flight, when he is tossing back liquor like it's bottled water. I drank the vodka because I'm an alcoholic. You still like him. He's one of the most likable actors ever. And he's good in this. He seems bored. The script is so bland that even I think he was like, man, there's not a whole lot I can do with this. And, well, I found this movie kind of insufferable and dull. It could have been way worse if you would have had a weaker actor leading this thing. Rami Malek's in this movie. Rami Malek, good actor. And him and Denzel do have some chemistry together. It's seldom. They don't have a lot of scenes where that you feel like they're growing their relationship, but these are two really good professional actors, and I wish that the movie would have spent a little bit more time with them just kind of building that relationship, because it was obvious that they were doing the most they could with what they were given. The script just held them back. This is probably the most backhanded compliment I've ever given any movie since I've rebooted this channel, or maybe ever. But this movie is so bland that I could see people on a Saturday afternoon or Sunday afternoon going to HBO Max, putting this thing on and saying, hey, you know what, I got something out of that. It's your basic murder mystery, investigation, serial killer drama. It didn't do much for me, but it's so milquetoast that I could see people watching it and being like, so I got something out of that. That was okay. I am not one of those people, because there's so many things about this movie that are just so poorly done. This movie's not well directed. It is horribly edited. It's ironic Rami Malek is in this, because it reminded me of Bohemian Rhapsody. There's that famous YouTube clip from Bohemian Rhapsody where there's 20 edits and a 5-second scene. There's a lot of moments like that in this movie. It is not well shot. It's not well directed. It's not well edited. It is really poorly put together. And I believe it was John Lee Foot Penis, who made this movie. And I looked at his IMDb. He's made and written some good movies before, and I just get the impression, because he wrote and directed this, that this was one of those big passion projects, and it does not materialize into something good at all. Jared Leto is in this movie, the forever controversial Jared Leto, especially since Suicide Squad. He is terrible in this movie. He is so bad. This is one of the worst performances I've ever seen by a great actor. What happened to him? 7 years ago, this guy won an Academy Award. An Academy Award he deserved for Dallas Buyers Club. He's incredible in that movie. And it's like him, and then he got cast as the Joker. And we were like, all right, he's not Heath Ledger, but okay, he could be a good Joker. Let's see. And he was terrible in that. And it's like he's gotten worse. He plays this role the way that a high schooler would play a role like this, with wide eyes and blank expressions. Ooh, he's all scary and threatening. No, he's not. This is just a bland, really poor performance by a guy that I know can act. And some of it isn't him. In fact, a lot of it isn't him. I think he's directed poorly, and the writing for that character is so bad. There's some lines that actually made me laugh out loud, and it's why I don't have a huge contempt for this movie, because especially in the third act, there's some things he says where I was just like, God, this is getting into so bad it's good territory. The line that may end up being my favorite line of 2021 is, there's a moment where he's like, I've never killed anyone in my life, so why don't you believe me, and we can head home and maybe even stop for tacos. Come on, Jared. Come on. Who wrote that? What's going on? Is this a seventh grader like screenplay competition? Yeah, this is just a bad character, poorly written character. But the biggest problem with this movie, because it's a terrible performance that he gives, but he's not in it that much. This movie's so boring. Oh my God, this movie is boring. God, Jesus, Lord, this thing is over 2 hours. It felt like about 7. Just because something features a dark subject matter doesn't automatically mean that it's going to be tense. And this movie, I just couldn't help but compare it to one of my favorite movies, which is Zodiac, which is based on a true story about a serial killer. Nearly a 3-hour film, methodically paced, but so tense, so well acted, so well directed. David Fincher, just, the master of all masters, at the top of his game when he was making that movie. You can do something like this that is slowly paced but make it tense and suspenseful. This movie has zero tension, and a big reason for that is there's just not enough good character development to really get you to care about any of the main players in this. It's not a very engaging movie at all, and I've reviewed some films recently that are immersive and engaging. Like One Night in Miami is a film about 4 guys in a hotel room, and I found that so much more impactful, meaningful, and interesting than something like this. It's a bad movie. It's just a really bad movie. It doesn't make me angry. It really doesn't, because I've reviewed stuff on here that made me angry. Tax Collector made me angry. Artemis Fowl made me angry. This didn't make me angry. It didn't ruin my mood for the day, but it's just not good. It's not good at all. I give it a 3 out of 10. I'm surprised that so many talented people were responsible for something that was so bad, and I don't recommend it, even if it's free on HBO Max. I mean, I know you have to pay for HBO Max, but you know what I mean, technically free. Don't watch it. It's not good. It's just dull. It's boring. So that will do it for this review. I'll be right back here for more reviews here pretty soon. Click that like button. Click that subscribe button. Let's get those watch hours up. Thank you for watching, everybody. Have a great rest of your day. Peace and happiness.